Hey everyone. Ever get stuck in your own head like that little voice inside is constantly criticizing you?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, today we're going to do a deep dive into all that negative self-talk and hopefully how to get rid of it.
Yeah. We've got some interesting stuff from the Mayo Clinic all about it.
Awesome. So let's just jump right into it.
But before going to the full video, want a browsing tool that lets you manage multiple profiles securely and efficiently? Check out One Browser. With One Browser, you can create unique, isolated browser profiles for each account, protecting your privacy while managing tasks like ad campaigns, social media, and market research. It's perfect for anyone needing flexibility and security in one powerful tool. Ready to simplify your workflow and boost your productivity? Try One Browser today and experience secure browsing like never before. Don't miss out. One Browser is the must-have tool of 2024. Try it now. Okay, now back to the topic.
What's the deal with all this negative self-talk?
Well, it's actually kind of surprising, but there's a lot of research showing that thinking positive thoughts is really good for you.
Really? Like how?
Well, for example, the Mayo Clinic article here says that it can lead to a longer lifespan, lower risk of depression.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. And there's even evidence that it can make your heart healthier and even boost your immune system.
So you're telling me if I think happy thoughts, I'm less likely to get sick.
Well, it's not quite that simple, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely a connection there.
I'm sold. Sign me up for all the positive vibes. But how does all of this tie into the whole self-talk thing?
So think of self-talk as the constant stream of thoughts that's always running through your head, like a conversation you're having with yourself.
Uh-huh. Got it.
And these thoughts can be positive or negative.
So it's like having a little angel and a little devil on your shoulders whispering in your ear.
Kind of, yeah. And the problem is, a lot of us tend to listen to that negative voice a bit too much.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like all those times I totally nail a presentation, and then all I can think about is that one tiny slip up.
You just described one of the classic forms of negative self-talk. It's called filtering.
Filtering.
Yeah, basically, you're filtering out all the positive and only focusing on the negative.
Oh, that makes sense. I do that way too much.
And then there's another sneaky one called personalizing.
Personalizing. What's that?
That's when you automatically blame yourself for things that aren't your fault.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like when plans fall through with friends, and I immediately think it's because they don't like me anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's totally me.
Another common one is catastrophizing.
Catastrophizing. Okay.
That's when you expect the worst possible outcome, even for small things.
Oh, like spilling your coffee and thinking your whole day is ruined.
Precisely.
Oh, I've totally done that.
And last but not least, we have polarizing.
Polarizing. Okay. I'm intrigued.
This is when you see everything in black and white terms.
Like you're either a total success or a complete failure.
Exactly. No middle ground.
It's like we've got these four sneaky villains: filtering, personalizing, catastrophizing, and polarizing, the four horsemen of negative self-talk.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
But hey, it's not all doom and gloom, right? There's got to be a way to fight back against these negative thought patterns.
Absolutely. There are definitely ways to retrain your brain to think more positively.
Okay, good. So how do we actually do that?
We'll dive into some practical strategies in the next part of our deep dive.
Awesome. Can't wait. I'm ready to evict those negative thoughts and get my positivity on.
Me too. It's all about becoming the CEO of your own thoughts and choosing to focus on the good.
Love it. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after a quick break with some powerful tips for turning that frown upside down.
It's all about cultivating a more optimistic outlook, and we'll show you how.
Okay, so we've identified those four sneaky negative thought patterns.
Right. Filtering, personalizing, catastrophizing, and polarizing.
Now, how do we actually, get rid of them?
Well, the first step is to kind of figure out where those negative thoughts tend to pop up the most in your life.
Okay, so, is it at work? Is it in relationships?
Exactly. Once you've kind of mapped out those negative hotspots, then you can start challenging those thoughts head on.
But how do you actually challenge them? It's not like they just disappear,
No,
right?
definitely not. It takes effort. It takes practice.
So what, do you argue with them?
Well, it's more about becoming aware of them when they happen and then consciously choosing to look at things from a different perspective.
Okay, so instead of saying, oh, I'm such a failure because I messed up that presentation, you could say, okay, I made a mistake, but I learned from it, and I'll do better next time.
Exactly. And sometimes, a little humor can go a long way.
Oh yeah, laughter is the best medicine.
Right. Like, don't be afraid to laugh at yourself in the situation.
I like that. Good dose of laughter therapy for those negative thoughts.
And, another important thing is having a good support system.
Oh, yeah, surrounding yourself with positive people.
Exactly. It's like having your own personal cheer squad to combat those negative voices.
That makes sense. But this whole retraining your brain thing, it sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but remember, it's like building a muscle. It takes time, it takes consistency.
So we just got to be patient with ourselves.
Yeah, and the article even gives some examples of how to actually reframe those negative thoughts.
Oh, like what?
Well, for example, instead of saying, I'm terrible at public speaking, you could try saying, public speaking is a skill I can improve with practice.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. It's all about changing the script in your head.
So what does all of this mean for our listeners out there? Why should they care about learning to overcome negative self-talk?
Because it can seriously improve your well-being. Like, remember all those benefits we talked about earlier? Longer lifespan, lower risk of depression, healthier heart.
Yeah, all because of positive thinking. It's like a superpower.
Exactly. You're essentially unlocking a whole new level of well-being, both physically and mentally.
Okay, I'm convinced. But let's be real for a second. It's not always easy to just flip that switch from negative to positive.
Oh, absolutely. It takes effort and practice, a lot of patience.
So what do we do on those days when it feels like those negative thoughts are just winning?
Well, the key is to not get discouraged. Don't beat yourself up for having those negative thoughts.
Easier said than done.
I know, but try to just acknowledge them, challenge them, and then gently redirect your focus back to the positive.
So it's like being your own cheerleader.
Exactly. And remember those tools we talked about. Identifying your problem areas, checking in with yourself, using humor, surrounding yourself with positive people.
All right, our negativity busting toolkit. All right, that's super helpful. Wow, so it sounds like overcoming negative self-talk is like this whole mind-body connection thing.
Yeah, it really is. Like we've been saying, the Mayo Clinic's research shows that a more positive outlook can actually lead to some pretty amazing health benefits.
It's pretty wild to think that just by changing our thoughts, we can actually improve our physical well-being too.
Yeah, it's like we have this untapped power within us to change our lives for the better just by shifting our mindset.
Totally. But it's not always easy to make that shift, is it? Like
Mhm.
those negative thoughts can be pretty sneaky and persistent.
Oh, for sure. It takes practice and patience. It's like learning any new skill. You're not going to be a pro overnight.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And there will be times when it feels more challenging than others.
So on those tough days when those negative thoughts just seem to be winning, what's the best way to deal with them?
The key is to not get discouraged. Don't beat yourself up for having those negative thoughts.
Right, because we all have them.
Exactly. We're all human.
So what should we do instead?
Just acknowledge them, challenge them, and then try to gently redirect your focus back to the positive.
It's like having a mental toolbox of strategies to combat those negative thoughts.
Exactly. Remember those tools we talked about? Reframing those thoughts, using humor, surrounding yourself with positive people.
Right, our negativity busting toolkit.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up, what's one small step our listeners can take today to start flexing that positivity muscle?
Well, it could be as simple as noticing when you're having a negative thought and consciously choosing to reframe it in a more positive way.
Or maybe taking a moment to appreciate the good things in your life.
Exactly. Even small changes can make a big difference.
It's all about taking control of those thoughts
Yeah.
and choosing to focus on the good.
And remember, building new habits takes time and effort. Be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, and keep practicing.
Great advice. So there you have it, folks. It's time to ditch those negative thoughts and embrace a more positive outlook.
And remember, you have the power to change your thoughts and change your life.
That's it for today's deep dive into the world of negative self-talk. Thanks for joining us.